Good evening, my beautiful brothers and sisters in Yeshua. Today is Friday, the 8th of August 2025, 888, at 7:06 p.m. here in Australia. I hope you're doing well and I hope you've been blessed. Oh, brothers and sisters, I have the wonderful blessing of I dropped my kids off yesterday until Sunday. And I had all these great plans to go out and like do all the things, let my hair down, paint the town red, etc., etc. And funny thing is, I dropped them off and came back and then realised the next 2 days were going to be pouring rain and everything and whatever. So last night, I was having, time of my life by myself. I was playing the Wii, I had a couple of drinks, I did some clay sculpturing. I was having a good old time, and all of a sudden I had this overwhelming feeling of peace come over me, of you do not need anything of this world, because I'll be straight up honest with you, brothers and sisters. I've sort of, I'm by myself, so I'm getting lonely and whatnot, and I've sort of been looking at dating, and I thought that was the answer. But last night this feeling was just I literally wrote it down in a note to myself. I was like, girl, you do not need a man. We are so close to the end. This is just a distraction. And so anyway, the reason I tell you that is because this morning I woke up and just felt the need to go back to my roots and study like I have never studied and researched before. And I tell you what, from 8 o'clock this morning until about 20 minutes ago, till about 6:30 p.m. or so, I have not stopped writing, I have not stopped researching, I have not stopped studying, because the downloads were just ka-ching, 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 ka-ching. And I'm just like, yes! I have not felt like this for years, and I'm telling you, brothers and sisters, a warning. This is very, very, very Rapture based, this video. So I know a lot of my older viewers will probably love that I'm going back to the Rapture, because it's just, I have to talk about this, because the things I've seen today, brothers and sisters, and I'm not saying I'm going back into religion or whatever. No, it's Rapture, Ascension, it's all the same, but I'm happy to call it a rapture. Whatever it is, it's the moment, the twinkling of an eye. It's going to happen in a second, and we'll all be changed. So whatever it is, it's going to be fantastic. So I can't describe how excited I have been, and throughout the day I've been like, stop, this is too much. Your video is going to end up being like 10 hours long. But I just kept going and going and going, because I was like, Father, you are awesome. You are just so awesome. Yes, I've got such a real excitement back. And my hands are cramped. I'm tired. But the excitement of this video is going to push me through it. And I'm sure you guys will hopefully get blessings out of it and get excited too. So I'm just, without further ado, I'm just going to go into my videos first. So this is when I was sitting on the couch this morning, feeling like I needed to research. So I thought, yep, I'm going to get a bunch of TikToks that are really super relevant to what's going on right now, and we're going to talk about them. And then we're going to go into all the tabs and my word pad of what I've got, 10 pages. 10 pages. So we're going to have some fun today, brothers and sisters. So let's hop on straight into it. So let's go the first one. All right, amazing confirmations for September 23.
Okay. So I have a pool at my house.
Okay.
And I was talking to God as I was swimming in the pool. And
is this the loudest
just really excited about Joshua's testimony. I've listened to him, the two that he had with the South African girls, and then the other on God's Daily Voice. Mm-hmm. And just listening. I was at one end of my pool, and we had a little waterfall, and I was sitting there just talking to God about it, and I just closed my eyes, and I was just like, God, should I believe I believe that this is from you, Lord, that Joshua's testimony is from you. And I heard in my spirit immediately, go to the fig tree. Okay, so I have to explain.
Go ahead.
I planted a fig tree from...
Okay, but just for the sake of time, because I do have quite a lot of videos and stuff to go through, this is amazing, this testimony here. She just goes on to explain that, you know, the testimony from Pastor Joseph, the South African pastor, who said that September 23 and September 24, Jesus is going to come back and get his church. And God told him this, right? So this has been making the rounds, it's going viral, everything like this, and there's a lot of stuff. And oh my goodness, brothers and sisters, there's a lot of stuff that's pointing to September 23. Anyway, this prophecy caught my eye too, and I thought, wow, I feel kind of convicted that this is actually for real. So this woman, anyway, so she's saying she's getting excited about it, and she's asking God, you know, is this really true, you know, because she doesn't want to get excited and whatnot. And God says to her immediately in her spirit, go and check the fig tree. And so she's got a fig tree that her mum planted yonks ago, and then her mum passed in 2021, and it's never, ever had fruit on it, ever. And anyway, long story short, she gets down there to the fig tree, and it's got fruit on it. So it's really cool. Like, I'm just trying to save some time here. But I really think this is it. I think this is go time too. So let's go to the next one. And just a side note here too, September 23 is actually what made me aware of the rapture right back in 2014 with the blood moon tetrads. I had no idea of what even the rapture was prior to that. Coming from a Seventh-day Adventist background, that was never spoken of ever. I never even heard that word. So, you know, September 23, like I said in many of my videos, I spent many hours at the library making little pamphlets and whatever to put in people's letterboxes to say that September 23 was the day that Jesus was coming back. And yeah, I put a lot of hope on that date every year since then. So that's just a little side rant there. So here's that Rapture Spanish ad again, the one where they're warning you of not to go outside if you hear the trumpets.
Listen up. Y'all, there's literally a video in Spanish talking about what to do if you hear the trumpets. Bubba News posted it a little while ago. Watch this.
What to do if you hear the trumpets. Do not go outside. Lock your doors and windows. Do not look up. Do not attempt to record the sound or share it on social media. The signal has already been detected by international systems and does not come from any human or meteorological source. The sound has been recorded on multiple frequencies at the same time, and its pattern does not match any known instrument. If you are among the first to hear it, move away from other people. Do not talk to anyone who claims to have understood the message. If meaningless phrases begin to be repeated, in a low voice or in sync, leave that area immediately. Do not follow anyone who moves toward the source of the sound. They no longer respond. If your house begins to shake slightly or the lights dim, find a place without windows and remain silent. Do not respond to any calls from outside, even if you recognize the voice, especially if it comes from above. After the third trumpet, the sound becomes internal. Some begin to hear it inside their skull. If that happens, write down what you hear and burn the paper without reading it. Don't share it. Don't say it. The signal seeks to replicate itself. Remain silent. Remain in the shadows. Don't pray. Don't look to the sky. Don't respond to the sound. Trumpets don't announce anyone's arrival. They are the warning that he is already here.
Okay.
He is already here.
This is too good. Okay, so That is just so funny. And the reason I bring this to your attention again is because
September. Be running outside looking up.
Because September 23 is legit the Feast of Trumpets. And it's funny that that ad is all about, when you hear the trumpets, don't listen to them and have nothing to do with them, whatever. And they're portraying the whole, it's an alien threat thing, because you see it. The figure on top has the shape of an alien head. So it's like, the point of what I'm going to make in my whole video today, for those that don't want to stick around for hours, is that the motherships are actually the New Jerusalem. They're here to save us, brothers and sisters. So that's why there's been so much fear put on an alien threat, and that's why the Pentagon has come out now, and Harvard and NASA, and said, they've spotted this thing that's the size of Manhattan, and it's on the course to Earth. It's going to be here in September, and it's hostile. They're already preparing that it's hostile. And I'm going to make an awesome point about, I'm going to put it all together with all the video, brothers and sisters, and it's going to make you really, really, really think. I know my videos have always been crazy over the years, but I'm so blessed that Father has allowed me to take the brunt of the hurtful comments and everything like that, because I truly do believe that He's shown me the truth, and that's my sole purpose on these last final remaining minutes, is to help my beautiful brothers and sisters awaken fully and get that veil rent in two, and just reveal that everything that we've been told is the opposite, or inverted. Anyway, but September 23 is the Feast of Trumpets, and yes, we're going to look way into that too. Okay, let's do the next one. Okay, this is a collection of September 23 confirmation stories. Again, for the sake of time, we're not going to watch that. It's just a bunch of people that have been having dreams and stuff. Check this out.
So there just happens to be a blood moon on September 7th, and like always, 2 weeks later, there's going to be a solar eclipse on the 21st, right before Rosh Hashanah, also known as Yom Teruah, the Feast of Trumpets. And there's been a lot of speculation on whether or not this will be the event where the Lord comes back at the rapture.
Okay, I just noticed something here too. Notice September 21 is also the equinox. So alongside the Feast of Trumpets, which has a Jewish idiom for no man knows the day or hour of, because it's a 2-day feast, because you can only start that feast when somebody witnesses the first slither of the moon. And so that could start at any time of the day over a 2 to 3 day period. Okay, that's why it's no man knows the day or the hour. It's associated with the Feast of Trumpets. But what I wanted to also add is September 21st, being the equinox, is also a day that no man knows the day an hour of either, because it is a intercessory day. Remember when we were doing the things about the calendar and the Enoch calendar, you've got 4 sets of 90 days and 4 intercessory days. That's, will bring you into summer, spring, winter and fall. That's the day in between. But then it's kind of like a filler day. So that could be the day that no man knows the day or the hour too. Just thought I'd add that. But how cool that just all of a sudden on September 7th, we now have a blood moon. It's just crazy town. All right, next one. All right, so this is coming from a different approach.
By mid-2025. Now again, I had no idea about this. I didn't talk about this in previous videos because I never went back and read these books that I'd written. I just dictated them, and then I was such a workaholic, I just kept on going with the rest of my life and doing all this other stuff. And I never even went back and read them. So I was totally amazed to find out this prophecy of a first wave of ascension, that it was going to happen by mid-2025, and that there is going to be, as I just said, a full solar flash, but only after everybody's ready for it. So some of us are going to be able to go right into that higher astral body and be ready for the full-blown fourth density right away after this first wave happens. So apparently there will be some people who become incredible superheroes right off the bat.
Okay, this is where all the telekinesis and the superpowers, and like what I was talking in my last video about how like people with schizophrenia, they're seeing now that it's not actually a mental disease, it's actually they're tapping into like a higher dimensional power, but we're just not, they just don't have anybody to support them, you know, in what they, you know, to show them that they're okay. So that's why they're like, oh my goodness, I'm crazy. Okay, so, okay, this is cool. Leviticus 23. Let's just see why I wrote that.
I kid you not when I say I've tried to record this video. This is my 7th or 8th time, and I've had interference for the last 7 times. I am absolutely convinced that the enemy does not want me to get this video out. I believe that I've received another confirmation about the rapture happening in September of 2025 this year. Now, is this the Lord or is this a coincidence? You be the judge. I don't think it is, okay? So last night I was listening to Mr. Joshua's testimony. Again, I watched the first testimony right here, and then I watched this one, and I watched it for the 3rd time last night to see if I can find something new. This guy's testimony is genuine and sincere. I know it in my spirit. He said that the Lord Jesus personally appeared to him and told him that the Lord will come and rapture his people, take them to heaven on the 23rd, sometime between the 23rd and the 24th of September this year, which is when the Feast of Trumpets begins, which is when the first day of the 7th month of Tishrei. As I was listening to his testimony, he mentioned how the Feast of Trumpets is mentioned in Leviticus chapter 23. So the feasts of God are mentioned in Leviticus chapter 23. You can go and read about them. And you have the festival or the Feast of Trumpets here. Leviticus chapter 23 verses 23 to 24. I want you to take note of the verse numbers, okay? Because they connect to the date of the Feast of Trumpets this year. The Lord said to Moses, verse 23, and then verse 24, say to the Israelites, on the first day of the 7th month, you are to have a day of Sabbath rest, a sacred assembly commemorated with trumpet blasts. Do no regular work, but present a food offering to the Lord. So take note of 23 and 24, okay? Now let's have a look at the dates for the Feast of Trumpets this year. The Feast of Trumpets is celebrated in Israel on sunset September 23 to sunset September 20.
Yes, so obviously this is awesome, and there's something I want to really show you now that's even more incredible, brothers and sisters, and I want to throw out there, you know, those of you who have followed me for a while, you will know how much I love the Jubilee, like the you know, the concept of Jubilee, and I've done many videos about it. And just the idea is absolutely beautiful, and it makes complete sense that all the wealth and treasures and whatever that's been stolen from us, God's children, over however long this has been going on for, has been stored up for us in these end times, okay? And that's what, you know, I'd like to call like Nasara, which is like a global wealth distribution sort of center type thing. So why I mentioned Jubilee and why this goes so well with, you know, the Feast of Trumpets and everything like this is because I know for a fact that we are in a Jubilee year right now, because just prior to the Pope passing, he that was the whole reason why he opened those 5 portals and doors, whatever you want to call it. And he opened the Jubilee door, the only, you know, every 50 years that door gets opened or whatever. Anyway, so like I explained in my last video, what it really meant was it wasn't 5 portals, it was the 5 senses. We were freed from religion. They had no more hold on us anymore, and that's what he opened. And so now we know it's a Jubilee, and it's And then we can read what happens in a Jubilee in Leviticus 23. So every single year, okay, on the Feast of Trumpets, this is what happens every single year, except for the 50th year. That's the Jubilee. So like last year and the last 49 years, okay, this is what's happened. On the 7th month, on the first day of the month, you shall have a Sabbath and a memorial of blowing trumpets. Now, that's very important to remember, brothers and sisters, that it's a memorial. A memorial is not an actual action. It's a memory. It's saying you must remember the trumpets, okay? And you do this every year for 49 years. But this is the incredible thing. Well, we'll just go down. I won't get ahead of myself. We'll just go down. And then on the 10th day of the 7th month shall be the day of atonement. It shall be a holy convocation to you, and you shall afflict your souls and make an offering of fire to God, okay? And so we see this. So I just want to make this very clear because this is super important. I've done many videos years ago about this, but this is, I think, this is the time that it needs to be said and people need to understand, because this is exciting. The 7th month, the first day of the month, you're going to remember blowing the trumpets. So we skip to Leviticus 25 now. And now this is when we're actually on the 50th year. Okay, so we've got the instructions here for how to have a Jubilee. And you shall number 7 Sabbaths of years unto you, 7 times 7 years, in the space of 7 Sabbaths you shall have 49 years. Then, listen, then you shall cause, so this is the action part now, not a memory, then you shall cause the trumpet of the Jubilee to sound on the 10th day of the 7th month. In the day of atonement shall ye make the trumpet sound throughout all your land. And you shall hallow the 50th year and proclaim liberty. This is exactly what Jesus, remember when he opened the scroll? He said, I'm proclaiming liberty to the captives. And proclaim liberty throughout all the land, so all the land, until all the inhabitants thereof. It is a jubilee unto you, and you shall return every man unto his possession, and you shall return every man unto his family. A jubilee shall that 50th year be unto you. You shall not sow, not reap that which groweth in of itself, nor gather grapes or the vine undressed. For it is a jubilee, it shall be holy unto you. You shall eat the increase thereof out of the field. In the year of this jubilee, ye shall return every man unto his possession. This is Nasara Grasara, the global wealth distribution. Brothers and sisters, I'm telling you, this is literally just around the corner. This is literally just around the corner. And this is why, this is another example of 3D, 4D mindset, okay? In the 3D mindset, you see cryptocurrency or digital currency as the mark of the beast. But in the 4D mindset, digital currency and cryptocurrency is actually what will allow every single man, woman and child on this earth to receive this jubilee of wealth distribution. I'm telling you, brothers and sisters, you can look at it one way or the other. It's the only thing where it makes every single thing fair. Every single thing fair. Because you become a sovereign entity, a sovereign being, a sovereign spirit, a sovereign soul again. Okay, this is it. I'm telling you, this is so exciting. And okay, so that is so incredible that on the 50th year, which we're in now, we have to actually literally blow the trumpets. So that's why that Spanish Rapture, the trumpet ad, is so like crazy. And the fact that this probe thing, this spaceship, this mothership, which I believe is the New Jerusalem, is coming in September now. It started off in December, then it went to November. Now we're coming into September now that it's supposed to be here. I'm telling you, it's perfect. They've planned this out, and that's why that Werner von Braun, whatever, and the assistant of Werner von Braun said that the last card will be a fake alien invasion. Brothers and sisters, they want you to think that. They want you to think that everything they tell you, everything that comes off that screen, everything that any of them tell you is false. It's back to front, is inverted. Like we'll go through the things. We'll go through my little 10-page document, and I'll show you that the aliens have actually been trying to help us for a long time. And there's lots of evidence. They've intercepted news broadcast and spoke for 6 minutes, and begging people to begging the governments to stop being evil and put down the weapons and stop the wars and everything. Otherwise, we're going to have to come and, sort you out and, and come and help and intervene. They've been warning us for years. They're like, we don't want to have to intervene, but you're affecting our planets now. You're affecting our civilizations. So anyway, this is friggin' exciting. So this is why I think, now with me saying all this about the Jubilee, now you have to make note that we could have a 10-day period, okay? A 10-day period, because you have to see, where are we? Yeah. So on the 10th day of the 7th month, okay? So it's not the Feast of Trumpets. It's not the Feast of Trumpets, but it says on the 10th day of the month, okay? Because remember, in Leviticus 23, the first day of the 7th month, you have a memory of blowing the trumpets, but now we have on a Jubilee, on the 10th day of the 7th month, you actually will physically blow the trumpet throughout all the land. This is the Day of Atonement, okay? This is the Day of Atonement. And it's a Jubilee. Day of Atonement is absolutely incredible, brothers and sisters. It all has to do with the books of life being open, the books of life and the book of death being opened on the Feast of Trumpets. And there's a 10 days of awe. 10 days of awe. And I want to show you something. Okay, this is my YouTube account, okay? This is the oldest video. This is 8 years ago. The oldest video is Yielding to God. My second video I ever made 8 years ago was the importance of repentance in the 10 days of awe. And that is from September 23 to October the 2nd. Now, in that time period, brothers and sisters, they believe that the books of life and death are opened, and it is a time of afflicting the soul, like really going, have I made boo-boos? Do I need to fix my boo-boos? All the things, okay? And then it is said on the 10th day, on the Day of Atonement or Yom Kippur, that the books are shut and the fate is decided for the next year, okay? But on the end of time, where we are now, brothers and sisters, that's it. It's game over. You're either on one side of the fence or the other. So the 10 days of awe, I want to bring to the table that if September 23 and 24 do pass without any significant event, which I think is highly unlikely, I think it's a very, 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 very high possibility that something is going to happen on that day. But I'm just saying, I'm putting it out on the table here that I think we're in the final Jubilee and we have to play by the rules and have that extra 10 days, which I think aligns to in Revelation there where it says the devil will put some of you into prison for 10 days. Okay, but be faithful unto death. Remember that verse? So, 10 days. I just want to put it out there that if by chance that, nothing happens on September 23rd, 24th, let's give it that 10 days of awe, because that would be like God's final, and it's probably going to be like full on in that time too. Maybe it's the 10 days of darkness. I don't know. I've heard that before actually, that there's 10 days of darkness. But, okay. So, okay, no man knows the hour. Oh, this is just explaining.
Man knows the day or hour. If he's returning on trumpets, then how does this make sense? Friend, it's this simple. It's because the Feast of Trumpets was the only feast day to occur at the start of a lunar month, the first day of the month. And this day was not known until 2 witnesses confirmed sighting of the new moon sliver to the Sanhedrin. And this could happen at any hour of any day during the new moon phase, which contains 3 days of darkness. Eventually, a Jewish idiom was coined, and the Feast of Trumpets became known as the feast no man knows the day or hour. They would have to keep watch for the day of this feast to arrive. And so you'll find Jesus using both these phrases when speaking about the time of his return. No man knows the day or hour, and so keep watch. It's tragic today. The church thinks Jesus' phrase, no man knows the day or hour, is saying we'll have no clue to the time of Christ's return. When in reality, it's actually revealing the time of his return, the Feast of Trumpets. Isn't that shocking? It's sad how deceived an entire church generation can be.
So some of you...
Yeah. So I've said that for a long time. It's it's quite obvious too. But anyway, let's keep going. Otherwise, we'll make this way too long. So what have we got next? Oh yes, just show you this one here.
Y'all, are we in Satan's little season? Well, I might have found a clue. Check out this movie clip from 1999, Arnold Schwarzenegger's End of Days, and tell me what you think.
1,000 years has ended. The Dark Angel is loosed from his prison. Get down on the ground and put your hands behind your head. You don't know what you've done. Get down or I'll put you down. 1,000 years has ended. You don't know what you've done.
1,000 years have ended. 1,000 years have ended. When 1,000 years are ended, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison. 27.
I know, right? They always have to tell us.
Oh yes, I've never noticed that before in that movie, but yeah, there you go. That's funny because my whole video today too is I've just, like I said, the downloads were incredible. The awakening today has been incredible, and I'm just so blessed. So I actually drew a timeline, and I feel it fits perfectly, and I can pretty much pinpoint everything to the T of when things went down and whatever. But anyway, so let's see. Okay, my notes on... Okay. All right. All right, I'm just going to read my notes, brothers and sisters, because like I said, I always forget. Well, not always forget, but I've been gun-ho since 8 o'clock this morning, so I'm just going to read it and try and put it all together at the end. Okay, so I wrote the 10 days between the Feast of Trumpets and Yom Kippur, or the Day of Atonement, that's September 23 to October 2nd, could be the devil is going to put some of you in prison for 10-day time period, like I was explaining before. Maybe for those that weren't taken, like our loved ones that didn't listen but now have to learn the hard way. Maybe it's like a quick little push, purgatory kind of a situation. And remember, these are the 10 days all where the books of life and death are opened, and the 10th day, Yom Kippur, is the fate which is sealed on you. Oops. This is the ultimate and final Jubilee, and this is why we look at the difference of Leviticus 23 and 25, like I just showed you. Then we can see why those 10 days are so important. 2025 is a Jubilee year. The Pope even declared it so. So we have to stick to the Jubilee, which I believe is Nasara Grasara and the rules. Notice in Leviticus 23, it even states the significance of the 10th day, and the punishment for not obeying it is to be cut off and having your soul destroyed. So that's in Leviticus 23. I wrote, chill, bro. And I wrote, side note, Revelation 19:20-21 suggests that the beast and the false prophet, which I strongly believe are Nero and Paul, or Saul, were cast into the lake of fire. Because it says that the beast and the false prophet were cast into the lake of fire. And I believe that happened in 70 AD. And the beast was Nero, and I've done plenty of videos on that to prove that it was Nero. And the mark of the beast was the libellus, which is a scroll, which I'll show you in a second. And so they were cast into the lake of fire. So the only one that was left, which is the dragon or Satan, okay, but he was bound in 70 AD. And we'll show you my timeline, and I'll show you the facts, and I'll show you the scripture to prove it and back it up. I know that's big claims, but I think I've figured it out. Well, I hope so. Okay, so I said the beast and the false prophet, Nero and Paul, were cast into the lake of fire, again proving that all of the Bible, bar the camp of the saints event, have already come to pass. All of it. All of it's already come to pass, except for the gathering around the camp of the saints and, God coming, fire coming down out of heaven and destroying them. Okay, so my big thing, I know people are like, Paul, how could you say Paul is the beast, Again, if you're new here, well, I've done many videos on Paul being a false prophet and Paul being the one that Jesus was actually warning about. And I have a theory that the powers that be realized that they couldn't stop Jesus's message, so that's why they created the New Testament and joined it to the Old and started the whole Matthew 1 with Jesus being the son of David, and like Jesus even is offended being called the son of David later on, and why they say Jesus is called, the son of the morning star or whatever, and that's the name Lucifer has. I believe that they're trying to, I think the only real thing there is the messages and the words from Jesus in the book of Mark. I think that's the original and only thing. But anyway, so Paul, who was previously Saul, is actually a nephew of Herod, the one who cut John the Baptist's head off. And, and this is the reason why Paul had the authority to go around killing everybody, all the Christians and stuff like that, because he was a Herodian. And Jesus warned, he said, if they say he's out in the desert, believe him not. It's exactly what Paul did. He came out in the desert and said, oh, Jesus, talk to me. There was no need after Jesus and after John, the final prophet, which was spoken of in Malachi 4, it said that, before the great day of the Lord, which is 70 AD, that I will send my prophet to come before the Lord. And that is, it said, I will send Elijah, okay? And Elijah is John the Baptist. It's reincarnation. I know I've gone through this in my last video, which I think YouTube cut it out. But Jesus proves that reincarnation does exist, okay? John the Baptist is Elijah reincarnated. That's why in the Transfiguration event, it says, and the disciples realized that Jesus was speaking of John the Baptist, when the whole question was, has Elijah already come? And Jesus was like, yes, he has. And people did whatever they wanted to him. And then the disciples realized that it was John the Baptist he was talking about. So Elijah, John the Baptist is the reincarnated Elijah. Okay, and he was the final prophet. Jesus even said this, there's no other prophets after John. John was the prophet that came to speak of me coming to free everybody. And so this whole idea that Paul has now come with, he says my gospel a lot in the New Testament. My gospel this, my gospel that. The disciples didn't like him. The disciples didn't like him and anything like that. And, the whole bit in the Bible where it says, you'll be able to be bitten by serpents and you'll survive and stuff, that was added. And because Paul did wonders where even the elect were deceived by, getting bitten by a snake and surviving, that's why the people on the island were like, oh my goodness, he's a witch, I want to kill him. But Jesus warned of this. Okay, and that's why that part of the Bible was added. Go look for it yourself. Try and debunk me. That part of the Bible, the verse was added. I can't remember which verse it is now, like the number. But, that was added to compliment Paul, which is totally false. Jesus was warning us of him and his gospel. And that's pretty much been the mark of the beast for the rest of the church since then, because we're more a Paulian, I don't even know how to say that word, Paulanity instead of Christianity. It's Paulanity. Yeah, we're more that than we are what Christ spoke of, which was just to love each other, to love Father with all your heart, soul and mind, and then to love each other like you love yourself. And everything else hangs off that. That's all we need to do. But Paul made it into some great big religion, and with the help of the church, because it says, Jesus says this, that they have the keys of the kingdom and they know they're not going in, so they're going to be damned well if anyone else is going in. So they created the New Testament. I'm sorry to say it. There is truth in there. There is. It's like finding a needle in a haystack. But if you really love Father, you really love Jesus, you really love the message of truth, then you will search. Even if it, one of my favourite movies of all time is Horton Hears a Who. It's the animation. And when he searches for that clover in the end, when he thinks he's lost it, that's what you got to be like to find the truth. You got to, yeah. I've done this little timeline here, but I've done it in a more bigger form. So let's just read that. Let's just go straight into my timeline, because I know people probably want to see that. So here we are. I think I can explain pretty much our history. Okay, so we've got the destruction of Jerusalem here, right? This is the temple on fire. Okay, in Revelation 19:14, again, I want to stress everything except the people going up to the camp of the saints has been fulfilled. It's already happened. Okay, so in Revelation 19:14, it says, and the armies which are in heaven that followed him upon white horses. Okay, this is the Josephus. I'll show you on my notes the part that he wrote, and I'll show you a picture of the drawings that were drawn. But he writes down, he's a Jewish Roman historian who wrote down that, and many other witnesses too, it was said that it wouldn't have been believed unless so many people seen it, but there was a whole array of chariots in the sky and a whole army and war in heaven, basically, okay? And this is, the parables that Jesus talks about, where he says, the king had a wedding feast for his son. He called on everyone. No one wanted to come because they were too lazy or whatever. And basically he called up everybody else, the bad and the good, and filled up the wedding feast. And then, and basically those people that couldn't be bothered, his people, supposedly, basically when Father sent his son, or the king sent the son, they were like, oh, this dude's got the inheritance. Let's kill him. That's exactly what they did. And it said that the king was wrath and angry and came and burned up their city. This is that. This is the day of the Lord, brothers and sisters, okay? In my notes, I'll show you the day of the Lord is one day, and by the evening it's over. Then it continues, life continues. So it's not the end of time, brothers and sisters. It's the day of the Lord. It's the day of vengeance, because they killed Father's greatest, creation. And yes, Jesus was a creation of Father, an essence, the greatest creation of Father, nonetheless. But still that, because Father, source, is first, always. So everything else comes after that, Anyway, so when that destruction of Jerusalem came, when you go back through Isaiah or Ezekiel and all that, and you see, references to the day of the Lord and what happens, it says the powers of heaven that will be shaken and brought down to earth. So in other words, it's not only the people, on earth, the humans, that are going to pay for what they did, the people who unalived Jesus. It's also the spiritual hosts of heaven that will have to come down now, be gathered together, and face the consequences of their action. Okay, and in this case, because they're spiritual entities, they got bound. And it even says in Ephesians that these are bound unto the day of judgment. Okay, and this is the day that Satan got bound too. Okay, because he was the main instigator. Obviously, he was the main instigator that unalived the king's son. Okay, Father's son. So he got bound in 70 AD, and then thus started the 1,000-year millennial reign, or what we know today as Tartaria, okay? And this is, and I'll show you my notes, I'll prove all of this with scripture, but this is where it says in Revelation 6 and Revelation 20, these are the souls, or the beheaded souls, that witness for Jesus and for God from the moment of Jesus' ministry to 70 AD. All of those people who lost their lives, because this is the first time this message had been given. Jesus came, the message was given. These people were the first and the most bravest of them all. Okay? The last will be first. These people, that's why their reward was 1,000 years with Jesus. Okay, so these people from the time of Jesus' ministry till 70 AD, all the people who had lost their lives, got beheaded and anything like that for the cause of Jesus' name, were now rewarded with 1,000 years to reign with Jesus in a perfect setting, okay, which we call Tartaria. And remember, it says in Revelation 20 that when Satan was bound, he could deceive the nations no more. So in this time period of 1,000 years, this is when the truth went, it permeated to the entire world, and the truth anchored in, brothers and sisters. It anchored in. It had 1,000 years to do this. 1,000 years to do this. Okay, mind you, Satan just had 6,000 years or whatever it may be. But yeah, Jesus had 1,000 years to do this. And that's how long, from 70 AD, okay, 1,000 years. And then when that finished, it finished in 1775. 1775. And the reason I know that is because I subtracted 250 years back from 2025. And it's just, I couldn't have got a better date than 1775. We all know what happened in 1776. But obviously in 1775, it would have been planned. It would have been, he would have been released. It would have been planned. It would have been founded. The idea of the institution of the USA, the corporation, the state, the idea that this corporation would have control and its webs and its funneling all throughout the entire world from that point onwards. This was pure, the Statue of Liberty, all the things. And the Statue of Liberty, mind you, is a direct replica of the painting of Lucifer, the famous painting of Lucifer, and notice on the Statue of Liberty that the chain at the bottom is broken. So there you go. It's loosed. Lucifer is loosed. The Satan is loose, okay? And that happened in 1775. Okay, so we've got 250 years of Satan's little season. Now, this is amazing to me because it seemed so confusing before. Now it's so simple. All that happened in Satan's little season was, where are we? Okay, so when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison. And what does he do? He shall go out to deceive the nations. So that's all he's doing, because he can't do anything else. Like I always said, all he has is threats, intimidation, and fear. He can't actually make you do anything. But he has gone out for the last 250 years and deceived all the nations of all the earth. And he's going to gather them together to battle. Now, this is the most important part. It says, the number of whom is as the sand of the sea. Brothers and sisters, the only group of people that can be is Christians and religious people. The very Christians that are saying that angels are fallen angels, they're demons, and that the governments and the powers that be have been warning us and trying to make us think that they're hostile or threatening, or when it's complete opposite. And my cat just came in, scared the crap out of me. It's the complete opposite, brothers and sisters. They are here to help, and it is everything we've been told is a lie. Like even in the Jewish books, for instance, in the history books, they even write that the Tower of Babel was like a ship, alien ship landing platform. They know all about it. It's just us in the Western world who have been fooled to this Sunday school baby milk session of the gospel. It's just ridiculous. And now's the time to come out of it. Because it goes on to say, and then they went up to the breadth of the earth, and they compassed around the camp of the saints, the beloved city. The beloved city, brothers and sisters, is the New Jerusalem. Okay? Is the New Jerusalem. And so these people who are numbered as the sand of the seas, which can only be Christians and religious people, this day and age, because there's no other big groups of people like that, right? They're going up because they've been programmed to believe that this is a threat. So they're going to think that I'm going to stand up for my Jesus and my God, and I'm going to protect it, because these aliens, these demons are coming. I'm going to stand up against it. And this is why Jesus says, many are going to say to me on that day, Lord, Lord, did we not do all of this awesome stuff in your name? And he's going to say, what? He's going to say, what? I don't know you. Get away from me. I don't know you. I don't know who you are. This is what I'm trying to beg and plead for you all, my brothers and sisters. Know him. He is not outside of you. Father, you are essentially a little g God because you are a child of the Most High. It is not blasphemous to say this. And we've been programmed to think that, that's, blasphemous to say that you are a God, when Jesus states this as well, because we're the children of the Most High. We are part of God, whether you like it or not. And we're here, like I've said before, I believe we're like data collectors or scouts. And each part of us is a part of God that has to bring back the data, the information. So why not bring him back awesome information and high vibrational information and just love? Because that's what will make everything just, come faster and happen sooner. So, brothers and sisters, that's my theory. So we got millennial kingdom till 1775. Satan's released. He starts planning the USA. The corporation is formed, And yeah, for 250 years, he takes control of everything, and and notice everything becomes founded now. Everything's founded. This was founded in 1855, and this was founded in 1926. It's like nothing was, originally cast or whatever, because it was stolen from the millennial kingdom. And this is why you've got these beautiful buildings with, these intricate cymatic windows and stained glass and harmonics. And it cannot be replicated today because we live in Satan's little season. It's so obvious, brothers and sisters. It's so obvious. It just makes absolute perfect sense. And we're going to go back to that. We're just about to go back to that. So, let's see what's next. Okay, my next notes. I wrote, oh my goodness, this just keeps getting better. Revelation 20:12. I was like, LOL, 2012. It states, the books were opened, one of life and one of death. And that's exactly the process of the 10 days of war. So this video, like I said, is probably going to go here, there, and everywhere like they always do. And I'm probably going to repeat myself because I've done notes and I've also done a document on the computer. So bear with me. Revelation 20:11 says, the earth and the heavens will flee away at the face of God. And so I believe that's the end of the simulation. Zechariah 14:7, okay, it says, one day known to the Lord. That sounds familiar, doesn't it? It's only known to the Lord. That sounds like Matthew 24, no man knows the day or the hour except for God. And it says, not day, not night, but it shall come to pass that at evening time it shall be light. So this implies that something is going to happen and then life will go on as normal come evening time. This again proves that the day of the Lord has already passed. It was 70 AD. Just like in Matthew 24, the Great Tribulation is described. It says, there's not a time like it before or after it again. Okay, implying that it is an event that happened and then life and time continues. And that's exactly what happened. 70 AD happened and life continued. Zechariah 14 goes on to say that Judah shall fight Jerusalem and that great wealth has been stored up. Is that Jubilee reference again. Then verse 16 says, anyone who is left of all the nations will go every year to Jerusalem to worship the Lord of hosts. So how can there be people left, brothers and sisters, if this is at the end of time, if the day of the Lord is at the end of time? No, because the day of the Lord was in 70 AD, and it's all in the past. Revelation 19 to 20 says, I saw the beast and the kings of the earth and their armies gathered together to make war against him who sat on his horse and his armies. The beast was taken and the false prophet that wrought miracles before him, deceiving them to receive the mark of the beast and worship his image. Both were cast into the lake of fire. Okay, so you've got the beast and the false prophet have been cast into the lake of fire now, okay, in a event that I've proven now has happened in the past, 70 AD. So we no longer have the beast, we no longer have the false prophet, okay, they were both cast into the lake of fire. And that's why you've got to chill all the Christians who think, oh, this is the mark of the beast, and Elon's Neuralink is the mark of the beast, and the jab was the mark of the beast. It's not. It's already been the past. They're using the idea of futurism to curse us, brothers and sisters. This is why Jesus said, be like the birds and don't worry about what you're eating and drinking and wearing. Tomorrow has enough drama. Just worry about today. Just chill. Everything's good. You're abundant. You're blessed. I'll look after you. Just stop fearing, stop worrying, because that's just giving the enemy, fuel. Okay. So I saw the beast and the kings of the earth and their armies gathered together to make war against him who sat on his horse and his armies. And the beast was taken, the false prophet who wrought miracles before him, deceiving them to receive the mark of the beast and worship his image. Both were cast into the lake of fire. Here we have, up here it says, gathered together to make war against him who sat on the horse and his armies. That is recorded by Josephus. That is the story that I'll show you in my document that was recorded in history by not only him but other two famous people, that they saw chariots in the sky. That was Jesus and his army, in the heavens, all on white horses, fighting the spiritual war in the heavens, and also at the same time the Romans destroying the temple and the people that unalived his father's son. It's happened, brothers and sisters. It's in the past, I'm telling you. Okay, so next one. All right, the Day of Atonement. The Day of Atonement is incredible, brothers and sisters. That's the 10th day of the 7th month, okay? The Jubilee. Okay, the 100 blasts of the shofar actually has nothing even to do with God. So I found, where is this? I don't know where it is now. I'm going to look for it. But basically, I had a look to the reasoning why they do 100 shofar blasts on the day, on the Feast of Trumpets. And you'd think it had something to do with God or anything, but no, it has something to do with some woman, in Jewish history. So I'm like, okay, that was weird. So, I've written here, the Jewish belief is that Yom Kippur, the 10th day, is actually the day God will judge the world. It's interesting to note that this was the day that the high priest would enter the Holy of Holies, okay? He would enter the Holy of Holies and obviously sprinkle the blood on the Ark of the Covenant, right? But notice the parallel, because this was the only day of the year, brothers and sisters, that the high priest could enter into the Holy of Holies. Pardon me. And this has a direct reference to Jesus when he took his last breath. It says there was a great earthquake and the veil rent in two. But in Jesus's case, it meant that we had direct access to Father, direct access to Source from that point onwards. Okay? In this case here, what we're looking at, back in, the Holy of Holy days, it was a symbolic thing of, obviously, of the future and what we're looking at now. So let's continue. I've written here, the sky cracks. So this could also be a reference to, what Revelation says as the sky peels back like a scroll. This could be our version of the veil renting in two. And it says in Revelation that once that sky goes open like a scroll, the Ark of the Covenant's going to be revealed. And I believe that's like the truth, everybody's going to know everything at once, instantly. And then notice it says too, in Matthew 27, I think it says, after Jesus' resurrection, the graves cracked open, and the saints arose and they went into the holy city. Okay, Jesus already broke the spiritual veil on his last breath. Okay, that's when he rent the veil in two. Now we're about to see the physical veil dome matrix be torn in two. This is amazing. So I did a little thing, because I always remember, at first I was looking for, I thought the Julian calendar was like 11 or 13 days behind, and I was looking, and I couldn't find anything. It was just giving me, this massive number, because the Julian calendar's like, we're on day 2 million something. And And then I thought, oh, hang on, it might have been the Ethiopian calendar. So I have a look at the Ethiopian calendar, and on September the 23rd, 2025, on the Ethiopian calendar, it'll be the 13th of January, 2018. So I'm like, that's got to be something. That's got to be something. Something. And then I thought, you know what? I wonder if, yeah, like I said, everything's back to front. Anyway, I'll continue reading. So I wrote, so I was researching January 13th, 2018, and that was the day of the Hawaii missile alert. Remember the false missile alert in Hawaii? And that was at 8:08 a.m. And I figure it must be an important date because it looks as though they have forwarded the calendar because they knew the real date of the end. Remember Project Looking Glass, okay? They have looked at millions of timelines and they know they can't change it, and they've seen the final event. So I think, believe me, I'm pretty sure they know. They know the end. They know the date, okay? And this karmic code I've written here, 923, is in everything. It's in all movies. It's in all cartoons. It's 923, September 23 is, it's everywhere. And the karmic code is what I've explained in many videos, like the gentleman's code. They believe that if they tell us what they're going to do in movies and songs and everything like that, and we don't say anything, our silence is our consent. And they believe that wipes their karma, which is ridiculous, but they believe that. So I think that they know, and I think that we can finally say that we probably know too. Okay, so anyway, I continued to research this date, and I came across this video. Okay, this is where it starts getting wild. I came across this video about another alert that was on TV, but this one said the end of the world was on Saturday, which you wouldn't believe what the date that particular video was talking about. September 23, 2017. Brothers and sisters, I was looking for January 13th, 2018, and it brought me to that video where, I think I've got it here. Yeah, creepy emergency broadcast alert hints at the end of the world for Saturday. So, basically, this alert came on. Hang on, let's have a look at the date. Yeah, see, September 22nd, 2017. It came on and it was saying that the end of the world was going to be on Saturday, and that date was going to be September 23. Remember the Revelation 12 sign? So my guess is they know that it's that date, but they just don't know what year. And I think, we've reached, where are we? I think we've reached the, where's my notes now? Oh, yeah. I think we've reached the point of, it being the actual year. So, what if they know the date, just not how much borrowed time we've been given to wake up as many as we can? Okay, think about how many have woken up since 2020. And I really think we have been given borrowed time, and things were supposed to wrap up probably in 2018 or 17, whatever. But brothers and sisters, I think we've been given a lot of grace and an extra 8 years to wake up as many as we can. And by the grace of God, my favourite saying in the whole Bible is, wherever sin is, grace abounds more so. So whatever they tried to do to us in 2020, it backfired, and the revival and the knowledge and the running to and fro and the knowledge increasing and all that just exploded. Okay, and here's another one. In November the 26th, 1977, the alien broadcast live on BBC. Yeah, and I've got that in my documents, the transcript. It's incredible. Okay, so that's all my notes. So I wonder if I should... Oh, all right, Stellarium. Okay, Stellarium. So on 9/22, it looks like we've got a solar eclipse. Well, we've I showed you that before, that we're going to have a solar eclipse. So that's pretty cool. So that's going from this is Jerusalem location. It's going from the 21st into early hours of the 22nd. And that's awesome that the sun is around the woman. Okay, the sun's around the woman, because this particular constellation is very important. It always has been. And yeah. And just while we're talking about the woman too, many years ago, when I've always been into calendars and stuff like that. And remember when I used to show you that there's two calendars that the Jews go by? It's like one's a religious calendar, the other's a civil calendar. And it's basically they mirror each other. So like, for instance, the Jews now will celebrate the Rosh Hashanah, the first day of the year, in March now. Whereas originally, like back in the Exodus time, it was actually now. So, see, they've changed that. And I think they've changed that because they want to be the opposite. They want to be inverted, back to front. So this is incredible too, that, the sun and the moon are in truly, I think, the first month, the true first month. So, which is the Feast of Trumpets, which announces everything, Trumpets announce everything, basically. All right, let's have a look. What else have I got here? Just looking at the Jewish calendar. There's that 1977 alien broadcast live on BBC TV. On November 26, 1977, viewers of Britain's ITV Evening News were startled by an eerie transmission that jammed the signal. Vrilon of the Ashtar Galactic Command had an urgent message for the people of Earth, a message of both great hope and of dire warning. Using acryl and other materials, this is a creative attempt at recreating what may or may not have been one of mankind's most amazing moments in time. So I've got the transcript in my documents and stuff, so we'll have a look at that shortly. But yeah, so that's that. That's that blood moon tetrad. That's what started it all for me. In late 2013, I think in December, I think I saw my first video about somebody doing a graft about how this is huge significance, and that was the first time they ever heard about the rapture. And yeah, so that was pretty amazing. What's the next one? Oh yeah, that's the 2013 September 2017. Sorry, 2013. 23rd September 2017. Too many numbers. I'm pretty dyslexic as it is. All right. No. Oh yeah, that's just the converting the Gregorian calendar to the Ethiopian. So you can see there the 23rd day of the month of September 2025 is Tuesday, Mescarim 13, 2018, or the 13th of January 2018. So that's cool. And I wrote the truth about January 13th, 2018, and that's when I found out about the Hawaii missile thing. And that was weird in itself. Oh, yes. And so how's this? My friend sent this to me the other day, a couple of days ago, and basically scientists have officially confirmed discovery of a ninth planet in our solar system. And I respond back to him, I'm like, oh, it's about time they catch up, LOL, because obviously we've been on this for a while. And then what happened? It was only, I can't remember what I was going to say about that. Oh, I can't remember, but I know I've written it on my document, so we'll get to that. Okay, that was that transcript. We'll read that in a sec. 10 Days of Awe just talks about these 10 days are days of personal reflection and repentance. Anciently, the nation of Israel took these 10 days seriously because it was vitally important for God to forgive their sins as a nation on Yom Kippur with the blood of Yahweh's goats. So, and I mean, my stance on who I believe the God of the Old Testament is, Yahweh. I don't think he is the God, I don't think he is our Father in heaven that Jesus shows us. And I've done many videos of that. I'm not going to go on about it now, but I think it's quite fitting that our Father, Source, would, do this big event on their special day. It's kind of funny, if you ask me. This is just Paul, because I was trying to see if Paul was around with Nero, because I was trying to prove my point about Paul and Nero and stuff like this. And it says here that thus publicly announcing himself as the first among God's chief enemies, which is talking about Nero, he was led on to the slaughter of the apostles. It is therefore recorded that Paul was beheaded in Rome itself, and that Peter likewise was crucified under Nero. This account of Peter and Paul is substantiated by the fact that their names are preserved in the cemeteries of the place even to this present day. So, I mean, I don't know. All that's proving to me is that they're in that time period, and it shows that Nero was responsible for slaughtering all the apostles. To how much truth that Paul, because it says that Paul was crucified upside down or whatever, and that he has this special place, and there's even this special burial in the Vatican for him. So I'm not too sure that I'm pretty sure Paul, like I said before, he is a Herodian, so we'll see about that. What's my next thing? Oh, this is the libellus, brothers and sisters. So this is what it says here. The libellus in the Roman Empire was any brief document written on individual pages as opposed to scrolls or tablets, particularly official documents issued by governmental authorities. The term libellus had particular historical significance for the libel, which was issued during the reign of Emperor Decius to citizens to certify performance of required pagan sacrifices in order to demonstrate loyalty to the authorities of the Roman Empire. Okay, so basically what this was in order for you to buy and sell, brothers and sisters, buy and sell, you had to carry around this scroll, this libellus, and that said that I, such and such, give my authority that this pagan statue is a god, and I'm going to burn incense to it, and therefore I can buy and sell in the marketplace. That's why it says in Revelation that, if you take the mark, if you don't take the mark, you won't be able to buy and sell, because it's already in the past. But anyway, so that's that. This is just, Jerusalem 70, so I'm not going to try and find that. This is historical accounts of chariots in the sky. Does it actually describe UFOs? See, this is amazing. This was written in 2020. I've only just come across it. And when I've sort of been thinking and had placed on my heart that, hang on, I think the UFOs and the aliens are actually not what we've been told they are. They're actually the good things that we should be looking for. So when I come across this, I'm like, yeah. Okay, so this is the phrase from Josephus. It says, a certain prestigious and incredible phenomenon appeared. I suppose the account of it would seem to be a fable, were not the events that followed it of so considerable a nature as to deserve such signals. For before sun setting, chariots and troops of soldiers in their armour were seen running among the clouds. Moreover, at that feast of which we call Pentecost, as the priests were going by night into the inner temple, they said that the first place they felt a quaking and heard a great noise. Okay, so I believe it. And like I explained in a few videos ago that, my parents being Seventh-day Adventists, they've got a prophetess that writes a bunch of books. And in one of the books, she writes about the destruction of Jerusalem and quotes word for word that, this happened. This is your rapture right here, this thing. What we're about to go into is the end. And we're going to, I don't know, it's going to be something different. It's going to be something different than the, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, but anyway. So what's my last tab up here? Oh, yeah. Okay, so let's go to my document. All right. Okay. So the first thing I've got, again, it's going to be here, there, and all over the place. Whenever I find something, I just cut and paste so I don't forget it. Venus and Jupiter are the stars of a mid-month planet parade meeting on the morning of August 12th. The lineup also includes Mercury, Saturn, and the Moon. And the reason I screenshotted this was because when I saw where it was in Gemini there, this is the twins, right? They're called Castor and Pollux, I think. And that's in Acts, which is this here, Acts 28:11. And after 3 months, we departed in a ship off Alexandria, which had wintered in the Isles, whose sign was Castor and Pollux. So that's, I just thought that was interesting. So there's that Leviticus 25 thing again, how it's different from Leviticus 23, because that's a memorial or a remembering of the trumpets, and Leviticus 25 on the Jubilee is a actual blowing of the trumpets and a giving back a wealth distribution to the world. Leviticus 23. And I was just showing you that, that's one of my first videos that I did. So this is the 100 sounds of the shofar blast. How I was saying it has nothing to do with God. These 100 sounds are considered symbolic of the 101 letters contained in the lament of Sisera's mother as she awaited her son's return from the battlefield, as recorded in the Song of Devar, Judges 4. So it's that's that, and that's the meaning of the 3 sections of the shofars that are blown. So it's the crowning of the king, which is interesting. So, we have one true king, and that's going to be Jesus, Yeshua. And according to the rabbinic tradition, it was on the Day of Trumpets that the Lord created the world, and thus is celebrated as the Jewish New Year. Okay, so that's pretty significant that they consider that the world was created on the Feast of Trumpets. The 10 days of repentance that began on Yom Teruah and concluded on Yom Kippur. Okay, then I did that, the conversion there, the missile alert. Oh yeah. Oh, that's why I had that picture there. There we go. So that picture, where was it? Here. Hang on. Yeah, that's why I was talking about this picture. So a friend had sent me this like 3 or 4 days ago. Scientists have officially confirmed discovery of a 9th planet in our solar system. I'm joking back to him, and I said, oh, it's about time they caught up. So anyway, so now now that I had that, I come across this is a screenshot of that video I was just telling you about. It said, the end of the world was going to be on Saturday, which was September 23, 2017. And then I screenshotted it. There was a thing that said Planet X on crash course with Earth, doomsday sayers believe. And this was posted on September 20th, 2017. And I thought, how funny that my friend sent me that post on Planet X, which is like Nibiru or, whatever, which I believe is the Mothership, the New Jerusalem. Yeah, how funny. And then now, in this video that was 8 years ago, see, they know. They're like, I know they're coming. This is why the Vatican has a telescope, the world's largest telescope, called Lucifer, because they're literally looking for this. They know. They know it's coming. They're keeping their eye on it. They know it's going to be 1 year on 9/23, or maybe 10 days later. Who knows? But just the fact that he sent me that 4 days ago, and then I screenshot this today, and I'm thinking, so obviously in August they start this whole Planet X Nibiru thing, because they know it could be this year, There you go, brothers and sisters. I just thought that was cool. So, let's keep going. All right, that's alien broadcast. All right, this is the transcript. So this is the message that in 1977 on BBC at primetime news, this is what was said. This was the message. Says, this is the voice of Rivlon, a representative of Ashtar Galactic Command speaking to you. For many years, you have seen us as lights in your skies. We speak to you now in peace and wisdom, as we have done to your brothers and sisters all over this, your planet Earth. We come to warn you of the destiny of your race and your world, so that you may communicate to your fellow beings the course you must take to avoid disaster which threatens your world and the beings on our worlds around you. This is in order that you may share in the Great Awakening, as the planet passes into the new age of Aquarius. The new age can be a time of great peace and evolution for your race, but only if your rulers are made aware of the evil forces that can overshadow their judgments. This is exactly what Trump's doing. Be still now and listen, for your chance may not come again. All your weapons of evil must be removed. The time for your conflict is now past, and the race of which you are now part of may proceed to the higher stages of its evolution, if you show yourselves worthy to do so, or to do this. You have but a short time to learn to live together in peace and goodwill. Small groups all over the planet are learning this and exist to pass on the light of the dawning new age to you all. You are free to accept or reject their teachings, but only those who learn to live in peace will pass to the higher realms of spiritual evolution. Hear now the voice of Verlon, a representative of the Ashtar Galactic Command, speaking to you. Be aware also that there are many false prophets and guides at present operating on your world. They will suck your energy from you, the energy you call money, and they will put it to evil ends and give you worthless dross in return. Your inner divine self will protect you from this. You must learn to be sensitive to the voice within that can tell you what is truth and what is confusion, chaos, and untruth. Learn to listen to the voice of truth which is within you, and you will lead yourself into the path of evolution. This is our message to our dear friends. We have watched you growing for many years, as you too have watched our lights in your skies. You know now that we are here, and that there are more beings on and around your earth than your scientists admit. We are deeply concerned about you and your path towards the light, and will do all we can to help you. Have no fear. Seek only to know yourselves and live in harmony with the ways of your planet Earth. We are here. We here at the Ashtar Galactic Command thank you for your attention. We are now leaving the planes of your existence. May you be blessed by the supreme love and truth of the cosmos. Have you ever heard a more beautiful speech in your life? How on earth can any person say that they are demons? I think consciousness has been sealed. You know, your heart is either cold and like, yeah. I think the time for trying to say, like, not save, but trying to warn people is over, to be honest, really. To me, it's just so beautiful and so simple and so fantastic. It's even more amazing than what we've been told. It's so exciting to find out this and to know that it's a different path than what we thought. It's great. All I've ever wanted to know, whatever the truth is as long as it's the truth. And this is awesome. So, the age of Aquarius begins on the 19th of November 2024. Okay, this is extremely important, brothers and sisters, okay, because it says up here, small groups all over the planet are learning this and exist to pass on the light of the dawning new age of Aquarius, okay? I've done many videos on this. The age of Aquarius began on the 19th of November in 2024, exactly 1 week after Trump was inaugurated or elected to be president. And this is extremely important, brothers and sisters, because it's actually biblical and actually scriptural, and Jesus talks about this. So let's check this out. Okay, so Trump, okay, 7 days after Trump was elected president, like I said, and he's the last president. And he doesn't say that to be arrogant. He says that he's the last president because there will be no more presidents. There will be no more governments. There will be no more nothing once this new age comes to be. Okay? He's not looking to be king of the world or president of the world, whatever it may be. He's not. He's doing his part at the moment to bring us into the golden age and the age of Aquarius and the new heavens and the new earth. Okay, he is the last president because there will be no more presidents or governments after this. So, let's have a look at this. This is why they demonize astrology. We have Taurus, Aries, Pisces, and Aquarius, what we're in now, finally, hallelujah. Okay, so Taurus, this was from the beginning, brothers and sisters, this was from the beginning. Okay, so this is, like I said, this is why they demonize astrology, so that we don't look into it and we think, oh, that's witchcraft and blah, blah, blah. Remember what witches were. They were people who were healing people by using natural things from the ground. You know, the powers that be didn't like that, so they casted them as witch. Anybody who questions, anybody who does anything by nature's way is automatically, you know, burned at the stake by the system, the powers that be. You know, the Holy Roman Church, okay? Anyway, so this is why it's so important, and to see Jesus' message in a more astrological sense, because that's how he was speaking. And this is why he spoke in parables and riddles, so that the average Joe when they didn't really give a shit, wouldn't understand. And, you know, unless you've really got that burning desire, that Berean spirit to find out these things, then, yeah, you know, just keep on sitting on that rickety middle of the fence. It's not going to last much longer. Anyway, so we've got Taurus. Okay, this is from Adam, from the creation to Moses. Okay, we're in a time where the Taurus is the bull. Okay, so we're in the time of the golden calf, the worshipping, and it says here, see, it's ruled by planet Venus. Now, planet Venus is the woman, right? She's the pregnant woman, and this is where this orgies come from. You know, when the worshipping of the golden calf happened, there was heaps of orgies happening around it and whatnot. It's a sexualized idea, a vanity, a Jezebel, whatever you want to call it. Okay, this was that time period. It's a 2,000 year old time period or timeline. Okay, so Wall Street still to this day has a golden bull in front of Wall Street. Okay, and Indians, okay, they see cows as holy, and you know, and even the saying "holy cow," which was made famous by Bart Simpson. You know, you just got to wonder. You just got to wonder. So it still rules to this day. Okay, but that was a 2,000 block period from Adam to Moses. Then we go to Aries. Okay, now we've got the ram. Now we're in the house. The house. You've got to remember that word. It's very important. The house. Each of these are houses. So in Aries, this goes from Moses now to Jesus. And this is this sacrificial system of rams and animals. And this is, notice the planet that rules it is Mars. Now, Mars is the planet of war and destruction. So notice how many millions of men, women, and children and animals unnecessarily died during this period for the traditions of this bloodthirsty God, Yahweh. Okay? There was just every, you know, just for the feast days and every day, pretty much animals had to be slaughtered, even doves, and, you know, it was just crazy town. And then, you know, like Psalms 137, it even says, you know, to rip the infant from the stomach and to smash it against a rock. Yahweh, brothers and sisters, is not our Father in heaven. Okay, this is why Jesus said to the Jews, your father is the devil. He's a liar and a murderer from the beginning. So this is that time period there. It was just disgusting. It was the bloodthirst sacrificial ram system. Okay, now we get to Pisces. Now this is from the time of Jesus until the time of Trump. Okay, so the time of Jesus is the age of spiritual bondage. Okay, and seeking outside of oneself for someone to save them. This whole, you know, I'm waiting for Jesus to come back to save me, you know, to save us all. Rah, rah, rah. That's, Jesus is like, please, heaven is not something the kingdom of heaven is something you cannot observe outside of you. It's inside you. He even says when you want to talk to Father, go inside, shut the door. You know, where you are in secret, Father will reveal himself openly. That's inside you, brothers and sisters. I know it's hard. I know it's hard to hear because it sounds new agey, but it's the oldest age. It's the oldest truth, brothers and sisters. That's the years of when Jesus was 12 until his ministry. That's what he was doing. He went to Egypt, he went to India, he went to Tibet, and he learned all the best practices and brought them back. And that's why the you-know-whos hated him so much, because Jesus wasn't promoting Yahweh. Jesus was promoting the Father, the source, the truth of everything. And they hated him for that. And that's why they will never be, ever, blended back into the vine, or whatever you Christians call it. You know, they will never, ever, ever come back, because the moment that Pontius Pilate said, you know, he gave them an opportunity. He said, you know, what's this man done wrong? And they're like, you know, and they're, Pontius Pilate gave them the option of Barabbas or Jesus. And they're like, Jesus, Jesus. And he's like, what has he done wrong? And they're like, crucify him. And then, you know, they literally said, let the blood of him be on us and our children. They gave themselves that curse. They ain't getting grafted back into the vine. That's the phrase, grafted back into the vine. Anyway, back to this. So we've got Jesus to Trump, okay? This is the age of spiritual bonding and seeking outside of oneself for somebody to save them. This is, we're learning, we're awakening, we're teaching, we're breaking free from that bondage. Jesus tells you to go into that house, the 11th house, and there will be a wedding, and there the wedding will be ready to take place. Okay, Jesus literally tells you this, and this is, I'm going to get to that in a minute. But this is a massive thing that I've talked about for years, because I know that this is what Jesus meant by this particular verse. Okay, we'll get to that in a minute, about how important the house that Jesus tells the disciples to go into. Okay, so the age of Aquarius is from November 19th, 2024 to current and, you know, beyond. And so we are now approaching the final event, brothers and sisters. Woo! Let's get a round of applause. This is what the Bible calls the New Jerusalem coming down from heaven and evil being destroyed permanently. Okay, so we have the signs here. We have the man with a pitcher of water, and this person has put a picture of Aquarius, a man holding a pitcher of water, and I'm like, yes, that's exactly me. That's why I had to add that in. I wanted to show you the comparison of a picture of a man holding or pouring a pitcher of water and this sign of Aquarius. Okay, it's the same. So Luke 22:9-12, it says, and they said unto him, where do you want us to prepare? And Jesus said to him, behold, when you enter into the city, there you're going to meet a man who's bearing a pitcher of water. Follow him into the house. Into the house, brothers and sisters, the astrological house, where he enters in. And there ye shall say unto the good man of the house, who's the good man? That's Father. The master said unto me, where is the guest chamber that I shall eat the Passover with my disciples? And he shall show you a large upper room that's furnished. It's furnished, brothers and sisters. It's ready to go. And he's like, there, make ready. Jesus is literally, I truly believe this with all my heart, soul, and mind, that this is what he means by this verse. Is Jesus is telling you, when you see Trump and you see this man enter into that age, and you will enter into the age of Aquarius, the man holding the pitcher of water, and when you go into that house, you are going to realize that the wedding table has already been set. The party's just about to begin. All we're waiting for is the final big igniting of the birthday candle, baby. I'm telling you. All right, let's continue. Jesus is literally telling us, when you see Trump, go into that house. Peace, heaven on earth. Trump doesn't want to be president. He is the last one, because in the new world, we will all govern ourselves under Father. We will be sovereign beings, brothers and sisters, sovereign beings. Okay. Like I said here, I took an excerpt before. Small groups all over the planet are learning this and exist to pass on the light of the dawning of the new age to all. You are free to accept or reject their teachings, but only those who learn to live in peace will pass to the higher realms of spiritual evolution. Okay, that's so important. Peace, love, harmony. 10 days of awe again. The 10 days between Yom Teruah and Yom Kippur are known as the 10 days of awe. So, according to Jewish tradition, on Yom Teruah, the heavens and books, okay, the heavens and books are open, and a time of repentance is granted. On Yom Teruah, the day of trumpets, the destiny of the righteous are written in the book of life, and the destiny of the wicked are written in the book of death. However, it is believed that the names will not actually be inscribed in these books until Yom Kippur, the day of judgment. That's the 10th day of the 7th month, because the merciful Creator and God gives 10 days for repentance before any fate is sealed. And see, this is my theory, brothers and sisters, my push for, the 10th day, because of the Jubilee. It makes sense that Father Source would give us an extra 10 days, and maybe 10 days of darkness that we all need just to really set this in concrete and stone. Maybe we need to have that 10 days of darkness, and maybe that is, because I read once that all the, the trials and tribunals of all the elites and stuff like that could last 10 days. So maybe it is, I don't know, but it makes sense. All right. Okay, it's a libellus. All right. Okay, what's next? All right, Mark 13, 24 to 26. But in those days after that tribulation, the sun shall be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall, and the powers that are in heaven shall be shaken, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds with great power and glory. This is 70 AD, brothers and sisters. Okay, this is the powers that are in heaven, like I said. It wasn't only the people, the you-know-whos that were responsible for Jesus unaliving. It was, Satan's minions, basically, the powers in heaven. So they were brought down to deal and face the consequences with, the people that did this great crime. Okay, and they saw the Son of Man coming down of heaven with power and great glory. They saw him in the clouds, brothers and sisters. Like I said, Josephus writes about it. They saw the armies. They saw Jesus on the white horse with his army on white horses. Got here on Isaiah 24. Again, it repeats it. And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall punish the hosts of high, shall punish the hosts of the high ones that are on high, and the kings of the earth. See? Like I just said, Father is punishing the ones in the heavens, the spiritual ones, and the kings of the earth. Okay? They're going to be gathered together and they shall be gathered together as prisoners are gathered in the pit. Dun, 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 dun. There's a key word right there. In the pit, brothers and sisters. And shall be shut up in the prison, baby. Case closed, mic drop, boom. And after many days shall they be visited. After the little season, maybe 1,000 years or 250 years. Anyway, then the moon shall be confounded, the sun ashamed, when the Lord of hosts shall reign in Mount Zion and in Jerusalem and before his ancient gloriously. Okay, so when Satan was bound, naturally the sun went, was darkened, and the moon turned to blood, because when Satan was cast into the pit, because you remember when he's released, the smoke comes out of the pit, and it darkens the sun. So when he goes into the pit, it's going to be the same thing, brothers and sisters. So when he goes into the pit, that's why it says that the sun went dark and the moon, didn't give her light, because of the smoke of Satan being bound in the pit. Anyway, let's keep moving on. Notice the hosts on high are bound in a pit. And notice it says that after many days they shall be visited. like maybe imminently. This goes along with Revelation 6:8. They were bound, but then were released. And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name sat on him was Death, and hell followed with him. And power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth, to kill with the sword, and with hunger, and with death, and all the beasts of the earth. See how it says, and his name was Death, and hell followed him? Okay, so this to me screams Satan and all of hell, all the angels, his 1/3, being released for the last 250 years. And power was given unto him and them over the fourth part of the earth, okay? Over fourth part of the earth. Okay, the little season in Revelation 6, 10, 11 is the same little season in Revelation 23. You will see in the following verse, the saints can't believe that Satan has been loose, and they are all given white robes and told to chill for a little season until every person has made the choice. This brothers and sisters, this study here is why I drew up that timeline before, because this set it in concrete stone, okay? This is Revelation 6:10. And they cried with a loud voice, saying, How long, O Lord, holy and true, do you not judge and avenge our blood on them that dwell on the earth? So they're cranky, right? They're like, come on. They're like cranky because Father's just released Satan for the little season, right? And so they're like, oh my goodness, how long do we have to continue this on for? And guess what they were given? White robes were given unto them, and it said to rest for a little season until their fellow servants and also their brethren that should be killed as they were should be fulfilled. And that, brothers and sisters, is the last 250 years of all the people that had a heart for Jesus, that did and lost their life for him and did all the things for him and all that, okay? That needed to be fulfilled up until the moment that we go. That this is happening right now, brothers and sisters, right now, okay? And this is Revelation 23. And cast him into the bottomless pit and shut him up, okay? And set a seal upon him. This is in 70 AD. That he should not deceive the nations no more. That's why, for the 1,000-year millennial reign, or Tartaria, if you want to call it, because it says he was shut up and bound and he could not deceive any nations anymore for those 1,000 years. That's why, in those 1,000 years, Jesus and those saints from Jesus' ministry to 70 AD who lost and gave their life for Jesus' message, that's why they reigned. And, yeah. But now they are waiting to the end of these 250 years, which, by the way, my adieu, is 1/4 of 1,000 years, 250 years, right? Which to me makes perfect sense because of the seasons, okay? You've got 4 seasons in a year, so 1/4 of that is, 1/4. So 1/4 of 1,000 is 250. So yeah, I always thought, 250 years would be the little season because it's like a season. It's like a literal season. So, like I said, everybody that needed to fulfill their role, fulfill their purpose and do what they needed to do will be fulfilled, hopefully, prayerfully on like September-ish, hopefully this year. Okay, and then it says, and cast him into the bottomless pit, shut him up and put a seal upon him. He won't be able to see the nations. Yep, so like I said, during those 1,000 years of the millennial reign, Jesus and those saints were able to spread truth, just anchor it in, basically, and that's why the truth has been able to survive up until this day. But I mean, if it was only, like I'm saying, if it's 250 years, we couldn't last much longer than this. And I suppose that's why, oh my goodness, that's why it says, if I didn't cut the time short, no person would be saved, because the amount of truth in 250 years that has been stolen and taken from us is incredible. So we couldn't go on for another 100 years. No one would know nothing anymore. You know what I'm saying? So it has to happen now, brothers and sisters. We can't keep going. Even another year, we couldn't even keep going, really. All right. I said, then look what happens next. Describes 70 AD perfectly. And I beheld when he opened the sixth seal, and lo, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became as blood. The stars fell from heaven, even as the fig tree cast her untimely fig, which she is shaken of a mighty wind. And the heavens departed as a scroll when it is rolled together, and every mountain and island were moved out of their place. And the kings of the earth, the great men and the rich men, and the chief captains and the mighty men, and every bondman and every freeman hid themselves in the dens and the rocks of the mountains, and said to the mountains and the rocks, fall on us and hide us from the face of him that sits on the throne, and from the wrath of the Lamb, and for the great day of his wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand? All right, brothers and sisters, so this literally describes 70 AD perfectly. Like I explained to you before, the great earthquake and the sun became black and the moon became as blood was because black smoke does that. Satan was bound, he was bound, and black smoke accompanies that, right? The stars of heaven fell onto earth. That's exactly what I was saying before. The powers of heaven, the hosts of heaven, Satan's minions basically got brought to earth to be gathered, to be put into prison with the kings of the earth, okay? And the heavens departed as a scroll when it's rolled together, and every mountain and island were moved out of their place. Plenty of evidence of melted cities. Oh my goodness. Research melted cities. That's crazy. There's plenty of places. Anyway. And the kings of the earth, and all these people literally were running for their lives and begging for the rocks to fall on them. And check this out. There is historical accounts during the siege of Jerusalem in 70 AD. The Jewish people expressed a desire for the rocks to fall on them as a way to escape the suffering and the destruction they were experiencing. Boom, mic drop. Okay. And funny, just a little side note here, in one of the books, can't remember, one of the Apocrypha books, it says that, because you know how Cain killed Abel with a rock, well basically that's how Cain's death happened too. Basically it's recorded that his house, which was made of stone, collapsed on him, killing him the same way he killed his brother. But there you go. What do we got there? Oh, this is just the Josephus thing. What I said before. We have the same thing here in Revelation 6:9. It's the same souls waiting for the little season as in Revelation 20, right? You have to remember that these souls actually reigned with Jesus in the millennial kingdom, or Tartaria, living in peace and truth, because the devil was bound for 1,000 years, and he shall not deceive the nations no more until he's loosed again, okay, which was in 1775. So, like it says, pardon me, they were like, oh, how long? It's almost like they were annoyed. They were like, oh my goodness, why are you literally releasing him? What's this? What's happening, dude? What's happening? But, yeah. Yeah, where were we? Yeah, so they're like crying, oh, how long, how long? Where it says here, Revelation 6:9. And when he'd opened the fifth seal, I saw under the altar the souls of them that were slain for the word of God and for the testimony which they held. And then, what's this one? Oh, this must be Revelation 24. And I saw thrones, and they that sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Jesus and the word of God, which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither had received the mark upon their foreheads or on their hands. And they lived and reigned with Christ 1,000 years. Okay, those souls are those from Jesus' time to 70 AD, like I was saying before. Remember, Jesus said that whoever gives up their family or jobs or anything and comes and follows me, 100 times greater shall be your reward. And I think reigning with Jesus in paradise for 1,000 years would be pretty sweet. That's a pretty good reward. So, this is where we are now. And when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison, and shall go to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth, Gog, Magog, and gather them together to battle, the number of whom is at the sand of the sea, of whom is as the sand of the sea. And they went up, on the breadth of the earth, and compassed the camps of the saints about, and the beloved city, and fire came down from God out of heaven, and devoured them. End of story, mic drop. That's it, brothers and sisters. Okay, so for the last 250 years, Satan's little season, he has deceived all the nations, starting with 1776 with the U.S. corporation. The U.S. has become the harlot mother, and all other nations follow her deception. They have truly infiltrated their way to all nations, and now we come to the great deception, so great that even the elect, if possible, could be deceived. And that is the alien threat lie. The aliens are not a threat, brothers and sisters. In fact, the complete opposite. They are here to save us from Satan's final deception. Think about every time the government says something is bad or a threat, 10 times out of 10, it's the opposite. And that's because they run under their father of systems, their father of lies system, a murderer and a liar from the beginning. They have told us that there is an incoming ship the size of Manhattan arriving here in, you guessed it, September 2025, and they've also made a very strong point that this ship is hostile. It makes me think that we, the people, particularly Christians that believe that aliens are demons, will be the ones who Satan gathers and brings up to the breadth of the camp of the saints. I mean, who else could fit the description of the number is of the sand of the sea? Other than Christians or religious people? Could this be why Jesus says on that day, many will say, Lord, Lord, did I not do all this wonderful stuff in your name? And Jesus will reply, I never knew you. Because literally you are going up to attack him? I mean, brothers and sisters, we have to think about this. Like, I was blown away by this stuff. Okay, I believe this will be the exact point of the rapture or the ascension, right before God sends fire from heaven to destroy those that came to battle. We will be beamed up, if you like, to the mothership, which I believe is the New Jerusalem. And in the Matrix movie, the ship was called Nebuchadnezzar, and the place was called Zion. Okay? So, just a little thing on Wikipedia here. The Matrix and philosophy states that Nebuchadnezzar's name is symbolically important, as the ancient king has a dream he can't remember but keeps searching for an answer. This is similar to how Neo continues to search for an answer to his vague but persistent question about the Matrix. Additionally, the book notes that the ship's nameplate contains the words Mark 3, number 11, which alludes to Bible verse Mark 3:11, which says, "And wherever the evil spirits saw him, they fell down before him and cried out, 'You are the Son of God,'" relating to Neo's path to Jesus' story. Brothers and sisters, I mean, I've shown you videos before where apparently the Terminator movie and the Matrix are actually like, they're supposed to be, the Terminator is like the original, the prequel, I should say, to the Matrix movie. Apparently that kid on the Terminator is Neo. Anyway, it's all about Jesus. Oh, it's just exciting. So, yeah, like I said. So, whilst we're in the mothership or ships, this is where the true medbed technology will be, okay? Untouched by man's greed. We will all be healed and given incorruptible avatars, perfect in spirit and flame, that was stolen from us. Never to cry again, never to be sick or in pain. Every tear will be gone and there'll be no more death. Meanwhile, on earth, all evil and death will be annihilated in flames to ashes, to be cleansed, and so that we are able to recreate once we come back down, okay, onto the fresh slate. This is exactly what Jesus meant when he said that you cannot comprehend the wonders God has in store for us, all of our heart's desires, times a billion more. Okay. They control the media, the food, the air, the water, and, they've done this to our demise, but have no fear. Jesus already gave us the power over all evil. That's in Luke 10. We just have to be patient. We have to love on each other. And the big event is any day now, brothers and sisters. And, so that's my my researching and all the things today. So I'm going to go back to my little timeline here. So we have over here the destruction of Jerusalem, brothers and sisters. That is the day of the Lord. What we're looking for here, the Ascension, the Rapture, whatever, that is the day of Christ. Okay? And it's funny because, it says, the day of Christ won't happen until the falling away happens and then the man of sin will be revealed. It's funny that where it says that until the falling away happens, in other translations it says, the departure or the rebellion. And I wonder, that's exactly what we're doing, is we're having a rebellion. We're having a departure from the Pharisees and Sadducees, in the modern day, going back to the ancient day. The Sanhedrin that turned into, the Roman Catholic, Roman Church, into the Roman Catholic Church, into the Catholic Church, into the Christian Church, whatever. But, so, destruction of Jerusalem, 70 AD, Satan bound, and all his, all the hosts of heaven and all his minions, whatever, they're bound too. And, the book of Enoch even says that that's what the so-called planets are, that we see in the sky, that's them. That they're the naughty ones, the leaders of all this. They're imprisoned in darkness until the days of judgment. So they're like imprisoned, but just up there. They're still in prison though. So they're bound. So this makes perfect sense, And then once he's bound, all these people from the time of Jesus to the destruction in 70 AD get rewarded and cruise around with Jesus for 1,000 years and, create these beautiful architecture and perfect existence and set in stone, concrete stone, the truth so that it's going to last until the last second. And basically, then Satan's released. He gets a little season and he makes the most of it by doing the best that he can, really just effing us all up and lying to us big time and feeding us crap from the media and the news and, poison the water, the food and fluoride and you name it. And, and now his little season has come to the end. And that's why it says, his wrath, because his season is coming to an end. That's why all these elites, their wrath, because they know their time's up. That's why there is literally no reason for fear, because the victory has already been won, because there's no such thing as future or past or present. It's the only time is like right now. Right this moment, right this moment, right this moment, right this moment. You know what I mean? That's why Jesus said, I saw Satan falling, Lucifer fall from heaven like lightning. Because he's seen that, because he transcended time. And that's why the transfiguration could happen. And, that's why there's such thing as reincarnation. Again, John the Baptist is Elijah reincarnated, and still to this day, like I said in my last video, that the Jews still to this day, I think it's on Tabernacles or Day of Atonement, whatever, will still have a place setting on their table for Elijah. They're still waiting for him. And Jesus said, he's already come. He came and restored all things. That was the role of John the Baptist. That was the role of Elijah, to be the carpet roller before the perfect message, the perfect messenger was to come, and that was Jesus. And and they didn't even recognize him. They didn't even recognize Elijah in John the Baptist because of the way he was. And Father makes those that love him strange, like John the Baptist eating locusts and honey and roaming around in like a cloth. But, all of us who love Father, who love the truth, who love Jesus, we're all strange, like that's what makes us. He literally calls us peculiar people. Because if we were the same, if we were like the robots of the world and the yes sir, no sir, 3 bags full sir type of people, then we wouldn't be having this conversation right now. We would be NPCs. And just doing what we were told to do. Anyway, this is probably a million hours long. Let's have a looky. 2 hours and 11, that's not too bad. I thought it was going to be here for like 5 hours. But yeah, I really think this is it, brothers and sisters. I really think I've nailed it. But yeah, all those videos about September 25, September 23, yeah, they're gold. That's where I first started, and it'd be awesome if that's where we ended up. For those of you who heard my videos previously, I got myself some copper dowsing rods and stuff. And basically, when I was using them last time and I was getting the hang of it, and I'm like, oh my goodness, this is awesome and real. I was like, we're going to see some action before the end of 2025, and straight away went to yes. And then I was like, later on, will it be like November? And it was like not doing anything. It's like October. No, I said, will we see something by September? And straight away, yes. So I just thought I'd just throw that in there. I know people are like, oh, what are you doing that for? That's demonic. But brothers and sisters, if you're on this walk with me and you've stuck with me through this 2 hours of this video, I know you're probably, my kindred spirit anyway, so it's all good. But yeah, I just thought that was cool because I felt an awesome little confirmation from that. And yeah, anyway, I'm going to wrap this video up. I hope this has blessed you. I really see a good possibility for this going down in September or early October. Yeah, because remember that Jubilee plays a big role, I do believe. Because maybe they'll get us. Maybe that'll be like the last thing, because we've been around the block a few times, probably a lot of us for a decade or so with these rapture dates. And so maybe they could throw that at us, that, they might do a September 23 and 24 come and go, and everyone's like, I knew it. I knew I shouldn't have done this again, blah, 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 blah. And that could be like a 10 days of awe thing, brothers and sisters. So I wanted to throw that in there. let you know, put it out into the universe, and make sure that that's out there and known, that that's pretty significant, those 10 days. So, enough ranting from me. I hope this video has blessed you. I hope Father blesses you. I hope Yeshua blesses you. I hope you're abundant. I hope you're happy. I hope you're joyful. I hope you're healthy. And yeah, I will maybe see you in the next video. If not, I'll see you in the skies. Bye.